Alright guys, Married at 21 coming to you with yet another video. I want to show you guys something pretty incredible that I managed to pick up at a thrift store for about 20 bucks. This is a REMCO Mighty Casey. Now, I know what you're thinking. What? If you are not in any of the toy scenes or you don't know a lot about a lot of this stuff, REMCO is a small-time toy company that got its start back in 1949. They made toys all the way up until I think it was 1974. Let me look at my notes. No, I'm sorry. They filed bankruptcy in 1971, according to my sources. They eventually sold their company after bankruptcy to Azrak Hamway Incorporated in 1974, and then was later acquired in 1997 by Jakks Pacific, and they're still in production. Now, the Mighty Casey was actually introduced in 1970 and only ran for 1 year. These little beauties would be locomotive. They were 6-volt battery operated, similar to the Peg Perigo trains and the roleplay trains of today, except this is, I believe, the first of its kind, and I very well could be wrong on that. But relatively, first of its kind, we'll say, roughly. The Mighty Casey had a lot of interesting features that Peg Perigo and roleplay and Power Wheels didn't have when it comes to these little ride-on trains, and that's they were expandable. What do I mean by they were expandable? Well, when you got the locomotive, it literally came just like this, just the locomotive. It had a seat here where the toddler can sit. This is a switch that would operate, but it didn't come. It came with a little bit of track, just enough to get to ride around. REMCO had decided to market it like a kind of like HO scale models and things like that, like model railroading would, and offer extra track packs. I believe there was switches. There was a bunch of freight cars and miniature passenger cars, all kinds of stuff that they had made for the Mighty Casey, and it was like a part of its own line. They even had a caboose, but they only made a handful of them, and those that have those those that had those caboose, they would not let them go or anything like that, so they're very hard to find. But that's not what I plan on doing with this. Now, yes, it's a toddler's toy. However, I want to also show the different things that it had for it. Now, this is the handle. It operated like a switch, which the forward and reverse. It even had a small switch here that it could be operated for to basically run it like this, like a model. So it was something that your toddler could actually play with for years to come, and I think that's what their intent was. Is so that way when they did outgrow this and they couldn't ride it anymore, they could just have a giant train set, which to me that's incredible. You don't see that with roleplay or Peg Perigo, especially nowadays. Now, normally these black pieces and this handle that I had seen on pictures would in fact be red. They would not be black. So I'm confused on whether or not this was painted or possibly, it's definitely not a 3D print. I'm not necessarily sure. So if, in fact, the sources that I have gotten that say that it was only made in the 70s and they only made it in the specific colors, which is yellow and red, if those are wrong, please explain that in the comments, because I've only done a little bit of research on this stuff, and I'm not necessarily sure. And unfortunately, this has got a small crack in it, but it doesn't really take away from it. However, a lot of the things that I do have planned for this probably does. When you open up the hood, you can see that there is a slot in the center, and this is for a 6-volt battery. Now that 6-volt battery obviously is long gone, which I mean from the 70s you would expect it to be gone anyway. But there are wires there. There's a piece right here that's pointed directly at me. I believe that was for a charger. That's obviously been long gone. So let's go ahead and show the interesting part that I find absolutely insane if we carefully turn her over on her side. I don't know how well you can see that in the video. I'm gonna flip her upside down. This is the trucks, and these trucks are a lot heavier than you would think. These trucks are made out of metal, and I don't know of any of the newer stuff where that is still a thing, where they are made out of metal, and it's insane to me. But they are made out of metal, and these pieces here are just screwed into place into the metal pieces, and it's insane. These are plastic. This is also plastic, but all of this is like it's metal. So the main support structure is metal. It even looks like too that it goes all the way down into the actual cab portions of it. It looks like. And I know it's hard to see in the video, but there are metal pieces that go down in here, and that's what connects to the plastic body. Now these are made out of plastic, the wheels are, which that's fine. That's actually kind of cool in my opinion. There was a knuckle coupler here. It's obviously been broke probably for a long time now. And this has definitely been sitting in somebody's garage for a while, so it's going to need a good cleanup. It was powered by a single motor drive, but it looks like this one whole axle was powered. So it was powered by one wheel, one motor, or not one wheel. It was powered by one motor onto this wheel, because I don't know, it again, hard to see. I'll probably do a video when I do a teardown of this, because I want to get this running again, even if it means redoing all the electronics in it, which to me, that's fine. But this piece here would run, and then it would drive this whole axle, so it would be a single axle setup, and then these would all be free rolling. So after that, and after they stopped producing these, they started kind of becoming a niche collector's item. I'm not necessarily sure what they're worth, but they're pretty cool nonetheless. Now, let me go ahead and explain what exactly it is I'm going to do with this thing. Well, I'm going to bring it back to life, and I'm going to see if we can't upgrade it to make it tow, not sit on, but tow a passenger car with an adult in it. Because in my childlike mind, I still want to own a railroad, and unfortunately I live in an apartment, and I think this would be a good opportunity to show a budget build railroad. And I don't necessarily have the funds to build a giant, insane live steam railroad or anything like that, but I feel like maybe this would be kind of a decent, different route to go. And I think some people would either A, enjoy it, or B, think I'm completely insane and stupid, and why would I use something from the 70s? Now let me explain where this kind of came up. Was when I was in the thrift store, and I found this, and it had a sticker on it for $20. I decided then and there that this right here was going to be the locomotive I was going to use. And the only reason being is because it was $20. Peg Paragos usually go for anywhere from like $150-ish. So I mean, either way, still relatively cheap. You get a little bit of track and stuff like that. So now I'm going to discuss on my operating system and the system that I'm going to devise in order to run this on track. This is a piece of PVC pipe. And now, because my apartment is kind of, I'm hitting the wrong, wait. Oh yeah. I didn't do it. It was a cop. I was just messing around. So these flanges will actually fit on this PVC pipe relatively well. The plan is to make my own track. Now I've got 2 pieces of 2x4x8 behind me, and I've got this PVC pipe. Now you're wondering, where did this idea come from? I'll tell you exactly where. There's a website. I will put a link down in the description. There's a website of this man, and I think this was a few years ago. He decided that he wanted to build his own backyard railroad, but because of budget constrictions on track and where to buy it and it not being local, he decided to devise an insane thing. And again, his name is Larry Gessman, if I'm saying that correctly. And he wrote a blog on this website. It's kind of seemed like it hasn't really been used in a while, on how he built his track. And he used this specific PVC pipe. Now, the prices that he's got listed are obviously outdated, because I think he started this project in, I don't know when, to be perfectly honest with you, and I don't want to give you wrong information. But he started the project a long time ago. He's got a couple of videos up, but he hasn't posted anything about it, or if he's done any upgrades or updates to anything that he's, done as far as the railroad goes. Now, he shows how he builds his own locomotives that can support both full-grown adults as well as children, but he doesn't really get into much other detail. He just shows, I'm assuming either his kids or his grandkids, riding around on the railroad with the more modern equipment that he does in fact have, or the equipment that he does have, and he ends up using lawnmower wheels for the, push mower lawnmower wheels for a lot of his engines. So that gave me the idea of building my own using the kids' ride-on trains. And I do plan eventually on building my own engine, but I totally want to start with a restoration project, which would be this. Now, this engine to me kind of resembles what the heck? Interesting. I'm going to definitely have to restore this thing. This engine to me resembles 1/10 scale. So that's going to be the basis I go off of, is about 1/10 scale, which, as most of you know, is very popular for RC cars and a lot of World War II tanks and RC stuff. So it just makes sense to me. I'm excited. Now, something I want to ask down in the comments, because we are not getting to the paint sections. We are going to revitalize it. You know what? I'm not even going to ask that. I already know what I'm doing. They make reproduction stickers for these. I can find them on eBay all day long for like $12-ish. I want to restore this the way that it would look back in the day, by adding a few modern amenities. I plan on doing away with the old motor, because 1970 is a while ago, down 50 years. Can I say that word on YouTube? I'll try to censor it. About 50 years, So, with it being about a little over 50 years old, or roughly 50 years old, this engine has seen some stuff, but at the same time, technology has advanced. So, I want to upgrade the motor. I want to upgrade the sound. It did used to have sound. It had bells, and I think it was just like a horn. But there's definitely still a sound unit in the cab. I want to add a front light. I want to add number boards. Maybe 1950, there's a comeback. But I want to leave it yellow. And I still want to put the Mighty Casey emblem back up front like it had back in the day. It definitely needs a good cleaning. It's grody. And I'm gonna upgrade all the electronics because the wiring again is from 1970 and it looks like they use nickel plate and that crap comes apart easily. And I've got plenty of wire that will work for this, so we are gonna go ahead and do a complete teardown and revitalize this little engine. So yeah. If you guys like the video, you guys would like to see this continue going, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to try to do videos more often. I do work. I do have a full-time job. This is not a full-time thing, obviously, because I haven't posted in several years. Also, hit up my TikTok page. It's Roland Mayhem. I may go ahead and start putting a few videos on there about this. I'll try to link that down in the description as well. But yeah, this is probably no longer going to be a toddler's toy, but I still want it to resemble what it used to be back in the 70s. I think that would be a very awesome homage to what it is and still be able to do what it did back then, just with a bit of an older generation. So yeah. Like and subscribe, you people. You beautiful people.